Good afternoon. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Oklahoma City Board of Adjustment for Thursday, August the 18th. Any of you have cell phones with you, will you turn them down or off, please? The first order of business for today is to receive the minutes of the August 4th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the meetings for the August 4th meeting of the Board of Adjustment. Would you cast your votes, please? It carries.
We have one continuance. Item number 2, case number 14224, request of Thomas Crabtree. That's being continued to September 1st if approved.
I'll make a motion to continue case number 14224 to September the 1st.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to continue item number 2 until the September 1st meeting. Is that right?
September 1st.
Cast your votes, please. So continued.
Item number 1, case number 14223, request of SSM Healthcare of Oklahoma, Inc. for a variance to the fence height and material in the DTD1 Downtown Design District located at 1111 North Dewey Avenue. This application was at the DDRC this morning and was recommended for approval.
Is the applicant present? No.
One meeting a day is enough.
I'll ask the board for their preference about this. I don't generally like to hear items unless there's an applicant present, but
Is there anyone here to speak in opposition?
is there? No.
If I'm not crazy, we just dealt with this on another matter.
We did.
It was discussed. We had the same debate. This is probably an extension of the same thing. I don't see any reason why this doesn't make perfect sense to grant a variance in this case, given that the code's in conflict. So unless there's some objection from somebody here or other board members, I'll make a motion to approve the application.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve item number 1. Would you cast your votes, please? And it passes.
Item number 3, case number 14242, request of KB Investments Company, LLC, for a variance to the maximum amount of allowed wall signage in the PUD 316 district, located at 13900 North Rockwell.
Good afternoon, David Box, 522 Colcord Drive, here on behalf of the applicant. Also with me is Ms. Megan Monroe, who will be discussing some of the packages you see in front of you. What our variance is requesting today is to the allowable sign size for attached signage. One of the reasons that we have a variance request is the code is inadequate to address attached signage when you have large buildings such as this. What we have in the code is a sliding scale based upon the size of, the width of your building as well as the setback. The width of our building is 573 feet wide. The widest building the code contemplates in attached signage is 125 feet. Our setback is at some places 588 feet, at some as great as 1,100 feet. The biggest setback contemplated in the code is 60. And so the code has this cap. And if we think about the purpose of this sliding scale in the code is to ensure that the attached signage is in scale with the building based upon size and setback. Well, when there's a cap to that and our project exceeds both the width and the setback, we have to get a variance to make sure that our scale is in conformance with what the scale would be if we were within those distances. So the hardship is created by the fact that you have this scale in the code that has a cap, and our building, frankly, just isn't contemplated under the code. So we do believe we have a hardship. If you look at the setback, we have a significant setback because of the ability to develop some of the out parcels there on Memorial as well as Rockwell. Some of the elevations in the package before you, you'll see the perspective from a car, and it's a significant setback before there's even some out parcels. One of the things we've done that Megan will walk through, when you look at the first page number 2 compared to page 3, what we did was transposed what we request compared to what would be allowed under the code. So you can see what we propose, I believe, is in scale with a building of this size. But if there are no questions of me, I'd like Megan to come address the renderings.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Megan Monroe, and I'm with the architect on record for this Walmart, Harrison French & Associates. I'd like to just keep it brief, go through the renderings with you. If you'll reference page 5, we have a shot of the grocery and the Walmart badge sign, as well as the home and living. You'll see the scale of the signs is in proportion to the building widths. If you'll move to the next slide. We have a scaled-out version from the perspective of the intersection. That intersection perspective is roughly 723 feet set back from that intersection. You'll see the sign, the Walmart badge sign, is roughly in view, as well as we have another view taken from the north where you'll see the fuel station and also the Walmart badge sign. And then lastly, if you'll reference page 7 of the application, you'll see another view taken from the exit right off the turnpike, as well as a view that is a bit zoomed out right on the exit. If you'll see roughly, you can see the Walmart ID sign on the side elevation. The large majority of the sign variants we're requesting is for that main ID badge sign and the side elevation ID badge sign. If there's any other questions, I'm here to address.
Is there anyone here to speak in opposition to the application?
Is there anyone here to speak on this matter? Would you come forward, please, and give us your name? And
My name is Seth Day. I just need to ask him a quick question because the documents we have, we're okay with what was presented. I just want to make sure.
ask me.
Okay. The signage that they're proposing, 7 foot, 6 inches, is that what he's requesting there on the?
Yes.
Okay, there was no change.
Okay. Anybody else? I would just point out, for what it's worth, that Turnpike is an appearance corridor. Signage is a hotly contested item. The first of these renderings, or the photographic type renderings that we were shown, had a very large sign right out of the corner. I think most people you stopped on the street could tell you where every Walmart in town is.
Sure. One of the things we're facing here is we have a PUD approved in 1983.
Under which you probably got a lot more signage than you'd get today.
Well, yes, and in fact, you'll be happy to know we've amended that, and instead of, I think it was 19 signs that we could have along Rockwell and Memorial combined, we have modified that to just, I believe, 3 signs. So instead of a significant amount of sign clutter, we'll have 3 signs to encourage, the multiple tenants on the single sign. So we think we've reduced any sign clutter that might be out there.
Members of the board?
I will make a motion to approve the application.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second to approve item number 3. Would you cast your votes, please? And it's approved.
Thank you.
Item number 4, case number 14243, request of James H. Blurton for a variance to the 1,250-foot maximum allowable square footage for an accessory structure in the RA single-family 1-acre rural residential district located at 12337 Southwest 41st Street.
Would you state your name and address for the record, please?
What, ma'am?
Would you state your name and address for the record, please?
James H. Blurton.
Sir, if you wouldn't mind, if you would pull that mic down closer.
Is that better?
That's
Much
much
better.
better. Thank you.
And give us your address, please, Mr. Blurton.
I didn't wear my hearing aids, I'm sorry.
Give us your address, please.
13237 Southwest 41st Street.
And tell us
Yukon.
what it is you're asking us for today. Tell us what you're asking us for.
What am I asking you for? I want to add 25 by 30 foot onto my existing building. I've got 2 tracts of land, well, some tracts of land in Mustang and Yukon city limits that I have to keep mowed. And I've got a small tractor, 2 trailers, a brush hog, a box blade, a finish mower, and a bucket. I have to keep the property up because of the city ordinance. One of them I use a brush hog on, and one of them I use a finish mower. And my 30 by 40 building right now, I have to put load up the tractor on a trailer, and if I do any maintenance or any work in my shop, like sharpening blades or whatever, I have to pull the trailer out, pull the tractor off, so I wanted to add on a 25 by 30 foot addition to my existing building. It'll be built by the same people that built my building originally, so there's no same material, same colors.
I note that your homeowners association has given their approval for your plan.
Yes,
Have you
ma'am.
talked to your neighbors on either side? Have you talked to your neighbors?
Yeah, I've sent, I think there was neighbors on both sides have talked to me, across the street, around the corner, and I think I've sent out the letter, furnished you all with the names of 10 or 12 people, and they came and talked to me about it, and they've got no problem with it.
And I know the property behind you is actually farmland, is that right?
Yes, that's farmland. Well, actually, it's a quarter horse ranch,
Oh,
or thoroughbreds, Gemstone Acres, they raise thoroughbreds. So there's they're just stalls or horse pens behind me. There's no houses or anything.
Members of the board,
Is there anyone here to speak on the application?
is there anyone here to speak on this application? Apparently
Question
not.
for staff then. JJ, the code, what's the real purpose for limiting? Is it just to limit the size of accessory buildings in residential areas, just to kind of control that?
That's all it is. Got to put a cap on it.
I'm almost embarrassed to admit this, but I measured the other accessory buildings, and they're all essentially within code except for 2, but the other 2, there's one that's 2,000 feet and one that's 1,500. It's very common in the neighborhood. You got the quarter horse ranch to the north. I mean, it's very consistent with the area. Almost everybody has an accessory building in this neighborhood. So unless there's opposition or someone feels differently, I'll make a motion to approve the application.
I second.
I'm sorry, I have a motion and a second to approve item number 4. Would you cast your votes, please? And it passes.
Thank you.
Item number 5, case number 14244, request of Ty Bowmaster for a variance to the non-conforming use regulation of the R1 Single Family Residential District located at 1713 North Drexel Boulevard.
The applicant present? Yes. Would you give us your name and address for the record, please?
Ty Baumeister. My current address is 504 Northwest 18th Street.
Tell us what you're needing.
I need a variance on the property. It's a triplex that I have under contract that I'm looking at purchasing. I was given permission by the seller to come do this and make sure that there's a variance to it. Currently, as it sits now as a triplex, there's 2 like properties on either side. They've always been that way, but the way it reads is that if it's destroyed at 60% or more, that it can't be, or that it has to be built back the same way, but it's zoned R1. So that poses the problem that I just need it to, the bank needs it to basically be able to be built back like it is currently.
Members of the board, let me ask before you do, is there anybody else who wants to be heard on this matter? Members of the board? This is a very common phenomenon in this area.
I believe he's set forth a hardship, and it would be important in order to get your financing to be able to be assured that if you do get in and when you're redoing this, that you would have this in place. So I so move the adoption.
Yes?
Sorry.
I'm the neighbor on this one to the north, and
Would you come forward, please, and give us your name and address?
my home is 1723 North Drexel.
speak right into that microphone, please. Give us your name and address.
My name is James Grant Foreman. I live on the corner of Northwest 17th and Drexel.
Okay.
My only concern is when if he had to rebuild the property, that they would know where the property line is, and to that regard, I had filed a copy of my survey, and it was a neighborhood fence. It was a concrete block, but they built it 19 inches into my property rather than completely on their property. It's not even, except for the abutments that hold it steady, there's none of the fence that's on their property.
The fence between your property and his? You're talking about the fence between your property and his?
Between the two properties?
It's between the two properties, yes.
That will not be affected by the action that we take here today, one way or the other.
It's not affected by what we're talking about here today.
Okay. I just wanted to, if somebody looks at the property, that they know where that fence belongs to.
You might provide a copy. I'm sorry?
He actually provided a copy of, he had a survey.
You're not going to build the fence back on his property, right?
Correct.
So,
Yes, there's the fence that is partially on his property, so I think that's a separate issue.
it is a separate issue, but sitting here in front of God and everybody, you're not going to build it there, right? All right.
That's all I had.
Thank you. Board members?
I was in the process of moving to approve the adoption of 14244.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second to approve item number 5. Would you cast your votes, please? And it passes.
Thank you very much. As far as documentation, is that something I leave with here today, or?
I'll send that to you in about 10 days.
Thank you.
Item number 6, case number 14245, request of Mallory Knutson for a variance to the front rear yard setback and the 50% maximum lot coverage in the R1 Single Family Residential District located at 708 Northwest 36th Street.
Would you state your name and address for the record, please?
708 Northwest 36, Mallory Knutson.
What do you need from us today?
I am asking for a variance to rebuild the house exactly the way that it is, just a different style, because when I bought it, it had multiple problems that can't be fixed, such as the foundation. It's sinking, so that needs to be brought back up and rebuilt.
Is there anybody else here today that wants to be heard on this matter? What's the size of this structure?
It's about 1,200 square feet upstairs and down.
Do you have room to park off the street?
There's one parking spot.
One parking place off the street.
Can you pull in,
Yes,
nose
you can pull
in?
it. You can
is
pull
there-
nose in, yes.
Okay. Board members?
It's a tiny lot. I mean, very,
I
very
was
small.
frankly very surprised to find out that it was a lot at all. I live near here, and I always thought that this was, somebody's garage.
I think someone separated a long time ago. We did all of our research and everything. It was plotted, so someone had to have separated it a long time ago. But, we did have it surveyed in the property lines and everything. And basically, the foundation is just crumbled, the water is coming up in, and it's just going to be too much cost to repair it. So she decided to, if you guys would allow it, we'd just rebuild it on the same footprint that is there now, just a little bit, a different look around the outside of it.
Well, there's no question that it's a mess and has been for quite a long time. So you're actually seeking, 3 variances, is that right? one to the front yard, one to the rear yard, and then the maximum lot coverage.
That's correct.
How, am I missing this? What is the actual square footage of the lot?
The actual square footage of the lot, I believe, is a little over 1,700 square feet.
It says in the staff report it's 1,480 square feet.
Well, I thought that was an error. Sorry. No, that's not a reflection on you, John. I don't see what we can do. This is clearly a peculiar situation, and I understand the concern, and it's not an ideal situation, but it's a situation that you're faced with, and consequently we're faced with nonetheless. So unless there's someone that objects or wants to speak otherwise, I'll make a motion to approve the application.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second to approve item number 6. Would you cast your votes, please? And it is approved.
Thank you.
Item number 7, case number 14246, request of Charlotte S. Day for a variance to the 15-foot corner side yard setback in the R1 Single Family Residential District located at 2636 Northwest 67th Street.
Would you state your name and address for the record, please?
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Charlotte Day. My address currently is 2636 Northwest 67th Street. It's the property in question we're requesting a variance for.
And if I understand correctly from my staff report, this is a condition that has existed since the house was built.
Yes, ma'am, in 1956.
And it looks to me, I had to get out my magnifying glass, but it looks to me like it's a little less than 5 feet at its widest, the encroachment. Is that right?
It's 2.5 feet currently.
Okay. Is there anybody else who wants to be heard on this matter today? Would you come forward for us, please? Give us your name and address, please.
Ron Barnett, and I live on the next street over. And I actually, when I bought my house and was rebuilding it, this one came up. It's got this little wonderful backyard.
Would you
Mr. Barnett?
Yeah, thank you. So we
And
can
it's really small. And I know I was wanting to put a shed out there because I was actually thinking about buying it. But the way the utilities are set up, the gas line runs along the backyard of the south side. And then the sewer line runs on the house behind it. So if they're going to build something on the side, they're really not going to mess anything up or cause the city to have any problems with access. And, you know, I mean, since I used to build things for a living, I'm kind of familiar with that. But, yeah, it wouldn't cause the city any problems.
So you have no objection to that?
No, I am actually, in favor of it.
I appreciate that. Thank you for coming.
All right.
Members of the board?
If there's no opposition from other members or from the public, I'll make a motion to approve the application.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve item number 7. Would you cast your votes, please? And it is approved.
Item number 8, case number 14238, appeal of Quick Break Food Stores of the decision of Downtown Design Review Committee regarding the denial of a certificate of approval to construct a new 4-story multi-use building, DTCA 1600043, located at 1122 North Broadway Avenue.
Excuse me, just a minute.
Gavel. Good afternoon.
Fox, do you have some news for us?
I do. David Box, 522 Colcord Drive here today on behalf of the applicant. who's also with me again, and the architect, David Mangan. In the interest of time, what I'll do is give you a quick update. The images before you that are in the packet as well as on the screen represent the changes made. The upper left-hand corner is the building as it was proposed 2 weeks ago. The bottom right-hand corner is what the building is now. We had the opportunity to sit down and meet with Mr. Elliott and several members of the board of directors for Automobile Alley. Then we went back, made some design changes, met with Mr. Elliott, Ms. Jenkins, and several members again of the Automobile Alley Association, and presented our revised design that you see in the bottom right-hand corner. At that meeting, Mr. Elliott expressed his gratitude for the changes and perhaps said it best. They didn't get everything they wanted. We didn't get everything we wanted, so it probably means we came to the right decision. This week, we then took this design to the board of directors of the Automobile Alley Association, who gave us unanimous approval of the design that's now before you. I believe Ms. Jenkins is also here in case you want to check my facts. But we do now have an agreement, and it's what you see before you. Haven's here to answer any detailed questions if you like, but what you can tell we've done is we've added brick to the balcony. So rather than just the iron pickets, you've got brick. You have brick columns with the cast stone cap to kind of match what you see in the other parts of the building. So we thank you for allowing us the opportunity. We thank Mr. Elliott and everyone in the association for taking the time to meet with us, and we think we now have a product that everybody can be happy with. So where does that leave us procedurally? Well, I think if it's the will of the board, because I anticipated this question, you as the Board of Adjustment, as this appellate tribunal, have the ability to affirm, reverse, or modify. So what we would ask you to do is to modify the decision of the DDRC permitting granting approval of the design as it is displayed now and as modified. So that's what we would ask for. The city shut the air conditioning off last time at 3:30, so we were hoping we could be brief and avoid a similar situation this time. We'd be happy to answer any questions.
Members of the board, does anybody have any questions? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to modify the decision of the Downtown Design Review Committee and approve the application as modified today.
I suppose I should ask that question. Is there anybody else who wants to be heard on this matter? I'm sorry.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second to modify the decision of the Downtown Design Review Committee regarding item number 8. Would you cast your votes, please?
It's a record, 6 votes. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Well, that completes our agenda for the day. There's still people here. Do I have any additional items to be heard, or?
A couple things. One, last time, I don't think we said it, but I want to thank Jeff Austin for his service as chairman over the last, how long has it been, Jeff? Two years? So thank you very much.
Here, here.
I always appreciated everything you did. You did a fantastic job. And Madam Chairwoman, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. I also want to encourage anyone who may be left as it relates to the Automobile Alley issue that if there are documents that exist in the public that pertain to regulations, that they present those to their council people for adoption. Otherwise, I don't see how members of this board can consider them in the future as binding or guiding on issues that relate to whether or not a project or a design or development is in compliance with what is ultimately all that we can consider, which is the ordinances that have been adopted.
Well, we had some discussion about that last time. I'm not sure that I agree that the fact that they have not been officially adopted doesn't mean that we can't consider them, but it certainly wouldn't do anything to hurt their status and our consideration if they were in fact officially adopted. So I would second that recommendation. If it's possible to have the city make them more official, I think that'd be a good thing. Anything else?
Make a motion to adjourn if we've completed our business.
I believe we have. I've got a motion, a second to adjourn. Would you cast your votes, please? We are adjourned.